Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and fans of the Livingston County Sheriff's Facebook page and YouTube. We are here today with Director Amanda Schultz of the Community Policing, and we're here to do a quick little interview of the Director of upcoming events as well as what's involved as the Director of Community Policing. And we're getting some folks coming on right now. So there's a couple more folks coming in. And we're coming into you today from our Sheriff's Office Facebook page, as well as the new Sheriff's Department, the LCSO YouTube page. So please go on over to the YouTube page and subscribe over there. There's some great community policing tips that have been placed up, short videos by different deputies from the agency. So good day, Director. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Mike. How are you?
Good. So you've been here for a few years as the director and with our communications department. Can you give us some information about your background?
Sure. So I started as a 911 dispatcher. It's going to be 15 years in June. I started part-time and took the civil service test to get full-time. And in 2009, I was given a full-time status here at the Sheriff's Office on the floor as a 911 dispatcher. In 2016, I was promoted to senior dispatcher of the 911 center, and in 2018, the sheriff appointed me the director of communications. So I had no background in community or emergency dispatching, but I learned pretty fast that it's an awesome career, and I'm glad to be here.
And what would you suggest to someone? I know we interviewed some of your staff a couple of weeks here ago regarding 911 center, but what would you suggest for someone trying to get into communications?
So emergency communications, I think, is one of those careers that is not explored by many people. It's a highly rewarding career. I would suggest to somebody who's interested in it to contact me at my email address or call the sheriff's office and ask to speak to me. But I would actually come up and sit for a little while to see if it's something that you would be interested in. I know when I first came up there, I was a little bit, I didn't know if I could do the job, to be honest with you. It's a lot of multitasking. It's a lot of making sure that you're listening clearly to callers and getting the right information, getting the right address, phone number, all that stuff. But I would suggest coming in and visiting and sitting with a dispatcher to see if it's really something that you would still be interested in. Other than that, if you are interested after that, you can definitely apply through our personnel department over next door at the government center. And then there's obviously a thorough and extensive background investigation for hiring procedures here at the sheriff's office. But after that, we'll see if it's something that you like and can do.
So in the chats, I'm dropping in the web address for both the Sheriff's Office webpage, which when you go to that webpage, will also take you to the main county page, and you can get a link in there to the personnel office through there, as well as I drop in the next URL. It will also take you to the YouTube page. So what's a typical day look like for you as the director of communications, or the typical day of a 911 dispatcher?
Yep, so I'll start with a 911 dispatcher. On a typical day, our shifts, we run 3 different shifts here at the sheriff's office. Our day shift runs from 6:30 to 3 p.m. Our afternoon shift comes in at 2:30 to 11, and our midnight shift comes in from 10:30 to 7 in the morning, excuse me. Typical day for them is they come in, they sign into their computers and their phone and their radio, make sure that all their volumes are good to go, and they get started. It can happen, within seconds of signing in that they take their first call, or it might take a couple minutes to get a phone call. Here at the sheriff's office, our 911 dispatchers do everything. So that means if they take your call, they're going to dispatch a law enforcement, police, fire, EMS to that call. Some 911 centers, there are different call takers, there are fire dispatchers, there are police dispatchers, but here at the Livingston County Sheriff's Office, the dispatcher does it all. So they'll go through their email, they'll go through any policies or procedures that have been updated throughout the previous 24 hours. And we they go along their day through that. As the director, hi Richard. As the director, my day starts usually around 6 in the morning. No, it usually starts at 8 a.m. I come in, I make sure that everybody's good to go on the floor. There's no technical issues that need to be addressed. And I get to going on to my emails and all that sort of good stuff.
The training that you have for your staff is pretty extensive, correct? I mean, they're out there triaging before some ambulance or EMS personnel get there, law enforcement get there, delivering babies almost while they're online, if not in some cases online. So how many training hours does a dispatcher generally get?
So our training academy is 16 weeks long. So after that whole extensive background and you're hired, the sheriff has blessed you to be a part of our team. Our training academy is 16 weeks long. So the first 6 weeks you are down at our emergency backup center down at EOC in Groveland. You're learning about the CAD system, about the phone system, about the radios, how to talk on the radio, geography, policies and procedures we go over. Kind of the meat and potatoes of being a dispatcher is that first 6 weeks. If you successfully complete that, the last 10 weeks, you are sitting on the floor with a certified training officer upstairs in our 911 center, and you're doing the job. Those CTOs are looking over you and making sure that everything's going smoothly and that you're sending the right person and that you're doing the right sort of steps that we have to go through in order to process a call. And then we're also, all of our dispatchers are emergency medically dispatch trained. So like Mike said, we can deliver babies over the phone. We can give CPR instructions over the phone. We are that first person that's on the phone in your time of crisis. And it takes a very special and very particular person to do that job so that they're calm, you're calm, we get you the right help. And those dispatchers are able to walk you through mostly everything. They'll stay on the phone with you as long as possible to make sure that you're safe. And they'll just make sure everything's good to go.
You're also in charge of pretty much keeping an eye on where everybody is in the county. So you need to be able to be aware of what's going on and everybody else is what's going on. I mean, it's a big chess game up there sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Knowing what agencies are going to what calls, who's on what, who's where, and what it is all at the same time is kind of a stressful situation, is it not, for your team?
It is. It's a very stressful situation when we're extremely busy. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, we have a question from the audience that goes along with that. And then from Catherine here, how do you not take the job home with you? What do you guys do to help each other out?
It's a good question, Catherine. I can't say this enough, but I'm certainly blessed with the people that I work with. They are my crutch, especially when I was working on the floor also. We talk through things a lot on the floor to make sure that everybody's okay and everybody's mentally sound after a stressful situation or a stressful call. I do take it home. I try to leave. I used to try to leave stuff here. There are times when I do take it home, and definitely leaning on a loved one. My mom is one of my biggest supporters, and she's heard a lot of stuff that I've gone through. And I'm blessed also to have my brother work here at the sheriff's office as a sergeant, so he understands the stressors of the job. But I'm establishing a critical incident stress management team. I'm currently under getting some more people part of our team, which is highly important to first responders who are in this field, our corrections, our deputies. They need to be able to come to somebody who's going through that situation. So that is in the works right now, and I'm really excited to get that going and to have that piece here at the sheriff's office so our members can come talk to peers about the problems that they're going through, because it's very important.
The next question is from Rachel. Is there a big need for dispatchers currently?
Yeah, good question, Rachel. Nationwide, this is an issue. here in New York State, I talk to a lot of the 911 directors and coordinators throughout the different public safety answering points. This is a huge problem. It's one of those jobs where the success rate in our training program is 1 in 3 people make it out of the training program. We've had a little bit more better success over the past couple of years, and I think that's because we're trying to finesse our training program into the needs of like adult learners and that sort of situation. But it's a hard job to do. It's a hard thing to be able to multitask. Our brains aren't wired to multitask. And that whole job upstairs is what you're doing. You're multitasking the whole 8.5 hours throughout your day. So people have a hard time with that, but there is definitely a need for dispatchers, not only here in Livingston County, but nationwide. So good question, Rachel.
And Catherine, thank you for your daughter's service. And yes, I remember training her when she was here. Mm-hmm. What motivates you to be a dispatcher and work in communications?
Yeah, so it's a good question. I actually did not know what a 911 dispatcher did when my brother asked me if I wanted to have a job back 15 years ago. So I didn't know that this is the process that they all went through to be trained as a dispatcher and actually what they did. I was blown away, and I'm still in awe of the job that our dispatchers do every single day. It's very stressful, but it is very rewarding also. So I think my dispatchers upstairs would agree with me that it feels like you've helped someone on the worst day of their lives to better themselves or to fix the situation that they're in. And it carries out outside of work too. A lot of people who are in an emergency response situation, they want to come to you because they feel like you can do and you can help them through anything. So I really appreciate everything that all the men and women do upstairs and in our law enforcement community because it's just very rewarding. So.
In our communications is really getting involved with helping folks now with community policing. You're doing Instagram. We have Instagram posts now. We're on YouTube. We're here on Facebook. We're on Twitter. So the social media is out there, and Dr. Schultz and her staff are pretty good about getting a lot of information up. So again, there's a new YouTube channel, folks. I put that up in the links up above. Please check that out because these broadcasts will be there on YouTube and they'll also be on Facebook. And there's some crime tips there as well. What's the most satisfying part of your job?
Most satisfying part of my job is to be able to work with my staff every single day. To be honest with you, like I said, they're my second family, and we're a good team upstairs. Morale's very high, and I'm very thankful to be able to work with them every single day and see their faces.
It's another question. I think we went over it already, but someone is very interested. Where do you apply? Again, I'll let you answer. I'm
sure
to ask the questions today.
Yeah, and that's all right. Thanks, Tammy. Sorry I didn't wear my glasses today, so I hope that is Tammy. So if you are interested in applying at the Sheriff's Office, your first step would be to, the link is a little bit higher in the comments, but the link to the Personnel Department for the Livingston County, you need to download that application and fill it out and return it back to the Personnel Department at the Government Center, 6 Court Street.
And I'll drop that link for the county website right back in there, folks. There we go. And that'll be on both pages as well. What are you most proud of? What's your accomplishment? What accomplishment has made you most proud?
Oh, let's see. To be honest, I can't really, every day being able to come in and I'm not usually on the desk now being in the director's position, but when I am on the desk and I'm able to, I get that thank you from a person that's on the phone on the other end that I've helped answer a question or I've helped save their loved one, with CPR instructions. Just that thank you goes a long way with myself and everybody that's involved in the law enforcement community.
On a daily basis, what type of calls are you receiving upstairs?
Sure. We receive a lot of traffic complaints. A lot of people are concerned about the way other people are driving. And, it's a good thing to be cautious of people who aren't driving the way they're supposed to be driving. We do receive a lot of fraud calls, people who are falling victim to scams over the phone, especially in our elderly community. Unfortunately, they prey on the elderly, and they can get money out of them pretty fast. So those types of calls we take. We're taking a lot of ambulance calls every single day. Fire calls also, but I would say for law enforcement, it would probably be traffic complaints and fraud calls and mental health issues that people are going through is another thing that we're taking.
Now, 911 can also be contacted through other means besides calling 911, correct?
Yes.
And what other ways can you contact 911?
So our public safety answering point, our 911 center, accepts text messages for 911. A couple videos ago, we actually talked about that in depth. We do provide the service here in Livingston County, but we always say if you can call, please call us, because we're able to hear what's going on in the background, even though maybe you don't think that we can. That helps us as a dispatcher know we can kind of visualize what is going on. But if you are in a situation where a voice call is not feasible and a text is, we can accept your text messages here at the sheriff's office.
Do we have picture to text capabilities yet?
We do not. Nope, that's something that's coming in next gen 911 that's been talked about for a couple years now. Our state is still progressing towards the next generation 911, but at this time we're not accepting pictures or videos.
And I've got one more question, and we'll see if there's anything else from the audience, and we'll wrap things up. HyperReach.
Yes.
Can you explain HyperReach to folks when they get those weird text messages, or those great alerts that are out there, or how to sign up for those programs?
Yeah, so our HyperReach program is an emergency mass notification system. It's a system that starts in 911, and we send out those messages. So if you want to sign up, there is a link that's on our Livingston County Sheriff's Office website, and I believe it's on our Facebook page also. But you can sign up, you can put your cell phone number in there so that you'll receive emergency mass notification. If you're in a geographical designated area where something's occurring, we usually send out a blast to notify you that the situation is under control, or there's no need for concern or anything like that. So you are totally welcome to sign up for that on our website. If you are on the HyperReach program and you don't want to be on it anymore, because we don't send them out very often, but when we do, some people get upset that we're sending them out during specific periods of time. You can just call our office and ask to speak to me, and I'll get you taken off there. But they are highly important, especially if you want to know something that's in your area, if it's going on, that you're safe, and to make sure that you are. We also try to make sure if we're doing a HyperReach notification that we're putting it on our Facebook page also, so that everybody who follows us is able to see the situation at hand.
There's kind of a comment question regarding to 7100. 243-7100 is a non-emergency number.
Sure, yeah.
But you can call for a direct line for the sheriff's office if you're looking there. And again, that's the non-emergency number.
Yeah, yep. So our 243-7100 number, that is, like Mike said, non-emergency. If you have a question or you need to get to a different office in our sheriff's office or anywhere in the county, you can call that number and we can direct you to who we think you should be in contact with.
Are there any other questions from the audience? If there are, if you could just drop them into the chat. Where do you see the 911 center going, or the future of communications?
This is a huge question that is usually still up in the air, and it changes every single day, and especially with the how technically heavy we are upstairs. We are moving towards, right now in our 911 center, goals of mine would be to, right now our text to 911 is a web-based system, so integrating that system into our phone. You have all aspects of EMS that are changing, ever changing, that have a communications aspect to them, moving towards those different areas. Right now, we are still reinforcing and building more towers in our county to make our communications area better for our first responders to communicate back to us and communicate to each other. There's huge things coming: videos, pictures, being able to live stream, or being able for us to see as 911 dispatchers to see what you're seeing is coming down the line. And it's exciting. It's exciting.
So there's a question here. Is 7100 the number that you're sending the text to? It's actually 911.
It's actually, yep, your text would go right to 911, which is the same 911 center that we have upstairs. So, yep.
How many counties across the state have gone to 911? The text 911? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know the number offhand. I know that our county and our surrounding counties maybe accept one or two do accept text to 911. If a public safety answering point, a 911 center doesn't accept text, you'll receive a bounce back notification to you that 911 center does not accept them.
Well, thank you, Director. I don't think we have any more questions here from the chat. So appreciate you joining us today. Do you have anything else to add from your end or something that I might have missed?
No, I appreciate everything. Again, a nice thank you says everything to the 911 dispatchers upstairs and any law enforcement member that you see out on the road. Just take care and be safe. And I appreciate everyone jumping on today.
And I'll see everybody in a couple weeks to talk about our clean initiative and the virtual neighborhood watch. So everybody have a great afternoon and thanks for joining in. Please check out our new YouTube channel and our Instagram. Thank you.